Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another session of Jeevan Jala Seva Samiti. Today, we have brought before you a very important topic, something that we rarely talk about. It's like the elephant in the room, and it's very relevant for the young generation of our present times. The topic for today's pornography's impact, what we rarely talk about. For those who are attending our session for the first time, let me tell you that we have conducted previous sessions on various topics like tips for healthy marriage, tips for effective parenting, how to prepare for marriage. We have a session for teens on how to handle relationships, and then the abortion debate. You can check out all these sessions in our channel in the YouTube, or you can go to the WhatsApp channel or Instagram page for these topics. My name is Shanti, and I'll be your host for today. And now, let me introduce today's speaker to you. Our speaker for today is Dr. Sunil Abraham Ninan. He is a pediatrician and he has done his MBBS and MD and senior residency from the All India Institute of Medical Sciences, New Delhi. And he has also a degree, MRCPCH from London. He worked for around 23 years in Kerala, and now he is currently based in Bangalore. And he is the senior consultant pediatrician in Kamal Clinic, Bangalore. Along with his wife, he loves mentoring couples and encouraging young people and teens. He has two children, Hannah and John. So over to you, Dr. Sunil.
Good morning to all of you. Well, I'm going to talk to you today about the impact of pornography, what we rarely talk about. Well, of course, some of you are saying, no, we do talk about it a lot, especially amongst young people. But yet, the impact of pornography, and we need to think about it, we need to talk about it, and understand about it. Before we move forward, we need to define what is porn. It's a professionally produced or user generated or AI generated or even virtual reality pictures or videos or audio or literature intended to sexually arouse the viewer. Let's go over that definition. So in earlier times, maybe a few decades back, it was mainly magazines or video, movies, etc. But now there are so many professionally produced or user-generated material available with the internet, in the internet, and there are even AI-generated material, and of late there is even virtual reality. Pictures or videos or audio or even literature, all these are going to qualify as porn. Okay, so today I will be using this word porn or pornography many times, and all of these are included in that. And the intention of all of this is to sexually arouse the viewer. Now, the advent of internet has made porn very accessible. You see, I am 54 years old. When I was in my college days, my own friends, I know some of them, they would read some literature or they would have some magazines or they would see some movies in their video player. But the advent of internet has made porn very accessible. Not only that, if you had to get any pornographic material earlier, you would have to go to a store and buy it. You see, and maybe, or you have to go to a movie theater and see it. But now people can, in the anonymity of their maybe rooms, just watch porn in an anonymous way. And also the whole thing about affordability. While it is true that porn industry is a big industry and there's so much money involved in it, but they do give so many free videos and pictures. So in that sense, porn has been made very affordable. I mean, people don't need to spend any money also to watch porn. Now, let me share with you certain data, and I have called it alarming data. And you would realize why I'm saying it's alarming data. American College of Pediatricians, in a 2024 document, so it's a recent data, they quote covenantized data saying the world's largest pornography sites has 28.5 billion annual visits in its website. And so it averages 800 searches per second. WebRoot 2019 data, it shows that in all the internet traffic, if you take 30 to 30% of all digital downloads, they are related to porn. Now, in the US, they did a representative survey in 2022 among 1,300 teens, okay, from age 13 to 17. It was done by Common Sense Media. So the data there shows that 15% of those teens, they said that they saw their first online pornography. Now wait, at what age? 10 years or younger. 10 years would translate to class 4, a class 4 student. The average age at which the teens saw their pornography was reported as 12. In other words, they haven't entered the teens yet. Out of this, around 42% they had seen it intentionally, but 58% had seen it accidentally. And when they were asked whether you have watched pornography in the last 1 week, 71% said they had intentionally watched pornography in the last 1 week. So a high proportion of those teens were regularly watching or at least recently watching pornography. 71%. Well, and many of us, or many people at least today, they think that pornography is a problem particularly with boys or men. But look at this. 2021 data said that 35% of visitors to a major porn site were women. A research survey published in 2023, and now we are in 2026, it found that the revenue for the porn industry was around $100 billion globally. Now, there are other estimates which say it's more than this. So, I told you all of this data basically to let you know that we are discussing something which is a very widespread problem. Now, some of you may be saying, where is the Indian data? Well, specific Indian data I did not see much, but I would say pornography is global. So this data which says the world's largest pornography site. So people from India who are logging in are also there. Okay, so it's a global phenomenon, and we know that it is a big thing right now. Now, what is wrong in watching porn? What is wrong? Some of us are telling that, well, it is just adult entertainment. Is there anything wrong in that? we will have to just suspend answering this question. We will just move on and see what are some of the effects of porn. Now, why is porn so enticing? You see, porn is so enticing. One reason is, you see, anything forbidden immediately becomes desirable, even to small children. I will say I'm a pediatrician, and if you tell small children, don't touch this, they want to touch it. Now, it's not only a matter of small children. Well, if the speed limit is 100 kilometers per hour, the moment you know that it's 100 kilometers per hour, you want to cross 100 kilometers per hour. So that is the human nature. And may I say, it's a fallen human nature. Anything forbidden immediately becomes desirable. Well, there are some things in the brain. Let me take you to some neurology now. There is a reward center in the brain, okay? And there's a network called the limbic system. That reward system processes pleasure, motivation, and reinforcement learning by releasing dopamine. So dopamine is a chemical, it's a neurotransmitter. Whenever we do something pleasurable or which seems good to us, the brain releases that. So that's the reward center releases dopamine. So that is why you kind of are motivated to do that the next time. Now, on one hand, we have the reward center, but on the other hand, we have something called prefrontal cortex. I'll show you a diagram now where all these things are. This prefrontal cortex, that is responsible for putting the brakes on those ones when needed. For example, suppose there is a person who is watching Netflix, some series, and it's night 2 o'clock. So the dopamine, the reward center is saying, yes, good, more dopamine is being released. But the prefrontal cortex, that says, oh, tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock, you have to reach your office and you have to do that task. And so it is better for you to sleep. Now, there are over 150 studies which have shown that if a person gets addicted to internet, this prefrontal cortex, which was supposed to do its work, that its control begins to decrease. In fact, in some cases, brain scans have actually shown that the frontal brain matter, that is the front part of the brain, has decreased in many of the people who are addicted to internet. So this is the brain. You see, that blue part is the front part of the brain. And if suppose this is brain, okay, and this is the front part, and this is the back part, and you cut the brain like this is the diagram. So the blue part is the prefrontal cortex, and the central part, you can see the mesolimbic dopamine pathway. So there are these different parts in the brain which controls this reward area, and there is this frontal area. So actually, porn can affect the brain just like any drug, like the drugs like amphetamines or cocaine, etc. What does porn do? Porn can create pathways within brain to cravings. It can cause, oh, I want that pleasure. I want that pleasure. It can push consumers to search longer and more diligently for the same level of high, because over a period of time, what happens is something called tolerance. Because the next time we see the same type of video or picture, that much dopamine may not be secreted. So, but the porn consumer wants that more dopamine. So what they do is they search longer and they search diligently for the same level of high. So when that happens, they say, okay, now this kind of material is not, it's not enough. They seek novel material, new types of things. They seek extreme kind of material. So now I would like you to take like to take you through harmful effects of porn. And there are many. Number one, porn impacts relationships. You see, those who watch porn, they are unable to look with, no, I have called it clean eyes. Like they're unable to look at, especially the opposite sex, with directly. Earlier, they could have just talked to any auntie or anybody nicely, but after they are into this porn, they may not even look directly. They feel little odd. Porn consumers, it has dozens of studies, it has shown that porn consumers tends to have lower relationship satisfaction and lower relationship quality. So those who consume porn, even they would not even have many romantic relationships actually. The number two harmful effect of porn is that it is habit forming, it is addictive, and I've already alluded to that. The amount of dopamine for satisfaction is relatively low at first, but later tolerance develops and brain demands higher and higher doses. So that is why, you see, once a person has gotten used to pornography, it is difficult for them to live. It's quite difficult to give up. Somewhat like the drug addicts. Now I come to the harmful effect of porn on children, and just thinking about it causes me to be so sad, I would say. And children, very young children who are just growing up, they somehow happen to see porn, maybe accidentally, or they are searching for something, doing some homework or something, and they click on something, and or just out of curiosity. They report feelings of disgust, shock, embarrassment. Sometimes they're angry. Why is this man doing like this? And sometimes fear. They even experience sadness after viewing pornography. You know, I know of school officials who have told me how some small children, they were acting out adult sexual acts. And the principal of the school was saying, well, what's happening? Well, these children happened to see some porn videos and they were just acting out adult sexual acts. And the children, because they have not really grown up emotionally, mentally, even physically, they get a distorted view of relationships between men and women. And so with all this, they get into sexual experimentation, and sometimes they have relationship with not one but many, sexual promiscuity, and sometimes teen girls, they get pregnant. Now, porn can lead to a lot of mental health issues, and this is proven. Many peer-reviewed studies have shown that those who are porn addicts, they have higher rates of anxiety, depression, lower self-esteem, and even behavioral issues. Well, I want to tell that porn can cause anxiety, depression, lower self-esteem, and behavioral issues. On the other hand, those who are having anxiety, depression, lower self-esteem, and behavioral issues have more risk to get into porn. This is both ways. Porn can cause a lot of guilt in people. They know, somehow deep inside, they know they shouldn't be doing it, but they do it anyway, and then they develop guilt and shame. Now, if a person has, suppose, any physical problem, imagine some thyroid problem or some other things, they can easily tell it to others, isn't it? You know, I have this problem, you know. But very few people in our society, especially in a shame-based culture like ours in India, would feel free to share that I am going through this. And so, unknown to others, people suffer a lot of shame. Another problem of porn is, you see, in these porn videos and all, they select people who are generally better looking, and even those people they kind of photoshop and do all kinds of treatments and other things, so they a kind of physical perfectionism is being sold. So this is the kind of body shape you should have. This is the kind of, say for example, in girls, the breast size or whatever. So what happens is the people who do not fit into that mode, they will develop a low self-esteem and they will say, oh, I am not a good I'm not a beautiful person. I am not important. So that can cause low self-esteem, self-loathing. And some even go to the extent of getting plastic surgeries done, especially among girls and women. And sometimes even males go ahead and do some things for their male organ. And these are, in studies done by Matabu et al. And Papadopoulos in 2013 and 2010 respectively. Now, porn, I've come to number 5. I have total of, I think, 9 harmful effects, okay? Violence and abuse. Many porn scenes contain violence or aggression. So, porn consumers are more likely to sexually objectify and dehumanize others. And many of these porn consumers, they are more likely to express intent to rape and even actual acts. You see, you keep on seeing something, you kind of think that, yeah, that is how life is, that's how world is, and this is kind of okay, and it's normal. This is how most people do it, So it can lead to violence and abuse. Now, the number 6 is related. You see, one of the main things about pornography is it teaches the viewer that women, especially women, are objects, or even vice versa. They're objects. They're not persons. They're just objects. And sex is a commodity which can be bought. Now, because of that, the society, and I've already told you the high prevalence of pornography in the societies now, the society becomes more hypersexualized. What would happen then? That would increase the demand for sex trafficked women and children. I haven't put out the data here of how many women and children are trafficked. And that leads to exploitation and abuse of children and women. So please understand that pornography is not just, a person watching porn in the privacy of their room. There are a lot of effects of this. In the whole society, it can cause exploitation of children and women. Well, what effect does porn have on marriages? Well, pornographic image, it can act as a supranormal stimulus for men, making them less interested in natural sexual activity with their partner. So we would have thought that actually porn helps, in sexual relationship within the marriage. But no, the reports say that actually porn has a negative effect on sexuality within marriage. 2012 Australian study of pornography showed 20% of regular porn users preferred excitement of viewing porn over being sexually intimate with a real person. And maybe the spouse, the person feels that the spouse is not as beautiful as the people whom he or she sees in the porn. In 2002, American Academy of Matrimonial Lawyers they reported that 56% of all divorces involved one party having an obsessive interest in pornographic websites. So it's a major problem in marriages also. Number 8, porn promotes deviant sexual behavior. Well, the natural sexual, thing which we would say is between a man and a woman within the context of marriage. But anything apart from this, I am calling as deviant sexual behavior. So, sex between man and man, woman and woman, and all the other kinds I don't want to even speak. These are unspeakable and degrading sexual practices are depicted. They are promoted and even normalized on the internet. And lastly, all those who are watching porn are in some way promoting the big porn industry. And as I told you, it is $1 billion industry. And these so-called porn stars and porn actors, let's not be foolish to think that they are doing all of this in a consensual way. There are many reports which say that people are, somehow get into it. They are made to sign certain things. Sometimes some of them are drugged. So quite a few of the porn things which are being watched, that is of non-consensual content. That means their consent was not taken. And many are exploited, and child sexual abuse material is also promoted by porn industry. Well, some of you are asking, is watching porn sin? That depends on how you define sin. If you are saying that, sin is a wrong behavior, so a person can say that, well, there is some content out there, whether I watch or not, that content is there. All I am doing is I am logging in and I am watching something. Even if I didn't watch, that is there. I am watching it. I am not harming anybody. So it is not sin. That is why many people say. But if you define sin as, for example, Bible says, Bible defines sin as missing the mark, veering off course, what God wanted you and humanity to have, and we are not walking in that way, that is sin. So you can make your own judgment about this. If you ask me, I would say watching porn is on a regular basis is sin. Now, I would come to the next part, and that is, you are saying, I want to quit porn. You are saying that, Uncle or Dr. Sunil, I'm sick and tired of it. I'm kind of addicted to it. I have guilt, I have shame. I want to come out of it. I'm not able to. I've tried. So there are quite a few people like that. And before I move forward, let me also tell you something very personal. You see, overall, I have been a person, even in my college days, I have stayed away from all of these things. But there was a brief time in my life when I also fell into this problem of watching pornography. But I would say by the great grace of God, I was helped to come out of it. So I want to encourage all people who are listening today that, if you are into porn and you want to come out of it, you should come out of it. Because as I told you, there are so many harmful effects. There is there's harmful effect to your mental health, to the way your attitudes, your relationships, and it can affect, I did not write that point, that it can affect your strength and initiative. So people who are into porn, just like drug addicts and all, their performance, even in their workplace, even in their studies, that can also suffer. So, and plus, if you look at society as a whole, porn does a lot of harm to women, to children, to the society, and in a way, we are also promoting the porn industry. So, our country has not, made a law and by banning all porn. You see, so that is the situation. Yes, child porn and all is banned, but still there are ways to get through it. So what should be done? Okay, I want to quit porn. What should be done? There is good news. And the good news is our brain can change. But this new pathway will take time, focus, and intention. So even though the brain has been kind of wired, it can be rewired, okay? But that would take time, focus, and intention. So let me tell you 7 steps which I have collated. You see, I have been talking to quite a few young people whom, sometimes the parents refer them to me, or sometimes they come to me and confide that I have a problem. Based on all that, let me tell you, the first step to quitting porn, before you can fix a problem, you must acknowledge that it exists. There are many people who are saying, "Arey, what is the big deal? We have hormones, we are in the young age. Who doesn't watch porn?" Well, if you are not thinking of this as a problem for you, then you cannot fix something, isn't it? So you have to accept that there is a problem. You see? I would even tell people something like this. If there is no problem, then why are you hiding things? For example, you may be in your home. If you are a youngster, you are in your home, or if you are a married person. When your wife comes, why do you suddenly, switch it off? You see? Or why do you delete the search history? That should give you a clue that there is something shady about what you're doing, isn't it? What is it that you're doing which you don't want others to know? You see? So the first thing that you can do is to say that, yes, I have a problem. And if you have reached there, you have reached step 1. Otherwise, you have not even started. Okay? The second step, I would say, is to think hard about the consequences. You see, the consequences doesn't come immediately. The immediate thing of almost any addiction is that it gives us pleasure. Otherwise, you tell me, why would people become alcohol addicts or drug addicts? They like the effects initially, isn't it? But at that time, an alcoholic is not thinking of the consequence. Oh, if I continue in this, what can happen to my finances? What can happen to my career? What can happen to my liver? What can happen to my relationships? What can happen to my spirituality? People hardly think. But when things happen one after the other, sometimes it is too late. So it is good to think hard about the consequences. If a person is on the path to this, you see, there is never ending. I told you, you would need more and more dopamine. Those videos the people were watching or literature they were reading, earlier they used to give, suppose, this much, you had to see this much to produce pleasure. You will have to now see this much, then this much. this cannot keep on satisfying. And then people say that, okay, now I'm only seeing, maybe I should do something. You see, that is how people get into all kinds of immoral relationships and actions. So it's good to think hard about the consequences. What would happen to my relationships? What would happen to my career? What would happen to my studies? What would happen to my spirituality? And the second picture I really liked, you see, one after the other, tuck, tuck, like dominoes. What would happen? It's better to stop now. Think hard about the consequence. I think this step 2 is very, very important, you see. And it is not that others should think hard about the consequence. You should think hard about the consequence. When I say you, means not all the hearers, or maybe all the hearers are not having this problem, but the person who is having this problem should think hard about the consequence. Well, step number 3 would be to set boundaries. You see, boundaries are very, very important. There's a very famous book, now that's a series by Henry Cloud called Boundaries, you see. And boundaries are important for almost anything in life. And that person should change routines and environment that leads to pornography usage. You see, every person is unique, and people have their own triggers that, okay, when they go through some situation, especially when they are sad, or where somebody shouted at them, or they feel self-pity, or they are alone, you see. So avoid those high-risk situations when you know that, oh, today I'll be alone in home and my parents are away, and maybe I would be, tempted. So then make alternative arrangements, go meet with your friends or do something, you see. Avoid high-risk situations or avoid company. You see, just like suppose there's an alcoholic and he wants to quit alcohol. He should, even if some other alcoholics are inviting him for a party, he shouldn't go there. You see, there are certain things, some boundaries that person must make. And in making these boundaries, you need to be radical. You see, I am reminded of a verse from the Bible. By the way, I'm quoting Bible once in a while because my life has been very much changed through Jesus Christ. And you see, in the Bible, Jesus Christ says that even if you look at a woman with lust in your heart, you have committed adultery. And then he says, if your eye causes you to sin, you gouge out. If your right eye causes you to sin, take out that right eye. You see? If your hand causes you to sin, cut off that hand. Now, of course, that doesn't mean that we must literally do, that's the use of hyperbole. But the implication is we must be radical. Let me give you some example of being radical. Now, we are talking about porn. But there is the whole genre of things called soft porn. And then there are movies like adult movies, A. Now, of late I have been asking some young people, what does A mean when you see it in some movies or series? A means there are certain scenes showing nudity or violence or sex scenes or even a lot of swear words, etc. Now, why should this be banned only for children? My question is, why should adults see nudity? Just because now my age is 22, oh, now I can see nudity in others, is it? So that looks odd to me. Think about it. So why did I say about things like Netflix or Amazon Prime or all of these things? If you are a person who is regularly tempted to watch porn, my suggestion is not even watch the lesser ones, because you are weak in that area. Now, if there is an alcoholic, would you say, okay, don't consume whiskey, it's good to consume beer? You don't know when he will slip from beer to the hard liquor, you see. So sometimes people need to cancel some of their subscriptions. You see, do something radical. Otherwise, it may not be easy to quit porn. And also, something radical, let me tell you, is there are some of these chronic alcoholics. So if you ask, Uncle, when will you stop this thing? And the standard answer will be tomorrow. You see, most of the addicts want to stop the things tomorrow. But if you want to quit or if you want to come out of any addiction, the day is not tomorrow, the day is today. And it's good to be set boundaries and be radical. That leads us to step 4, build healthy habits. You see, an idle mind is a devil's workshop. You see, a person is sitting at home, doing nothing, just wandering here and there. And then sometimes people say, oh, let me just browse. Well, we can just keep browsing, and you did not initially intend to go somewhere, but you will end up going somewhere. There are many good habits which we need to build up. For example, we need to look after our body. So, work out, or, playing games, or, meeting with people, having good friendships, having good hobbies. So it is good to build healthy habits, and even healthy habits regarding how we use digital media. So maybe after this much time we don't use it, maybe during dinner times we don't use it, and things like that. One of the healthy habit which I have is my phone can be accessed by my wife, or even my children know the password to my phone. So that kind of a transparency is also a good thing. So you can think of what are some of the good healthy habits to do built in your life. It's not just that I shouldn't watch porn. Bhaiya, you shouldn't watch porn. Then what you should do? You see, and also doing something for the society, or apart from, of course, your career and work and family. So as a part of this habits, you should learn new ways of coping with strong feelings like anxiety, loneliness, anger, depression, boredom. You see, that's another thing I would like to quickly say about this word called boredom. The present generation, I'm noticing, has a lot of problem with, I'm getting bored. Even 1 minute, people are not able to just do nothing, you see. But modern scientific research and many people, they say that boredom is the way people actually start thinking new ideas. Actually, boredom is in one sense good. So don't be too afraid of boredom, but yes, what to do at that time, you should learn new ways of coping with strong feelings, and otherwise people might end up in this. Also identify activities that can help you relax, enjoy yourselves, and feel refreshed. So self-care is important. The 5th step to quitting porn is, most of these things, still step 4, you are doing it yourselves. But it's very difficult to quit porn by yourselves, actually. You would need support, you would need guidance, you would need help from mature, reliable people. And I've written mature, reliable people because if you take help from your friend who is in similar problem, the blind will lead the blind and both will fall into a ditch. So we need help from mature, reliable people. And it is also very important that you be accountable to that person. You see, you cannot just say that, okay, give me some advice, but there is some kind of an accountability whereby the other person can check on you, saying, how have you been the last 1 week? So that really helps. And that brings me to step 6. So install accountability software like Covenant Eyes on your devices. Well, I don't think I'm promoting one thing. There are other accountability software also, but this is the one thing which I know. And for $18 a month, which comes to around how much, 1700 rupees or so. Uh, if like I have taken one Covenant Eyes account, okay, so I can have 10 people in that, whose all the devices like mobile and laptop, are installed. They have installed this Covenant Eyes in that, so that will prevent them from watching anything of this type of a sexual content, and that if at all something is happening, to the person who is having this software, the main person in that, they would get the message. And so this is therefore an accountability software. And I feel that this people can install this in their devices and then go to other devices and see porn, you see. So those kinds of things can happen, but yet this is a useful thing, I feel. But having said all this, let me tell you, sometimes you will not be able to come out of this. That is because, you see, now again, I would draw a little bit from the Bible. And in my life also, I realized that there is something called sin. And sin is not only what we do, it's a power. So what happens is, the good that want to do, you are not able to do. But the evil that you don't want to do, you end up doing. So it's almost like a power which rules, and you need power over that. So that is why the last step I have said that you can cry out to God, saying, I am unable to save myself. Please save me. You see? And so this is what I wanted to share with you about the impact, the harmful effect of porn. And we rarely talk about this, but it is a real problem for many people. And especially in a nation like ours, which is, as I told you, a shame-based culture, many things are happening in the privacy of people are suffering. And that is why we thought that this is an important topic which we need to speak about it.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sunil, for those important details about pornography's impact. They are quite scary and hard-hitting as well. It's also good to know that there is hope to come out of this addiction, although very strict measures have to be taken, and that also points to the importance of accountability. Yeah, so the 7 steps to coming out of porn, those were really helpful. So one was admit that you have a problem, and the second point was to think hard about the consequences. The third point was to set boundaries. Fourth point was to build healthy habits, and the fifth point is help from mature, reliable people and be accountable to them. And the sixth point was accountability software installing, like Covenant Eyes. And the seventh, and yet one of the most important points, is cry out to God. I hope this session was quite helpful. And now this is the time for the Q&A session. And in case you are not able to access this menti.com and the code or the QR code, you can send your questions to me in the chat box, and your names will be kept anonymous and confidential.
Well, we already have one question here. How can we educate small children to stop watching even for curiosity? Some tips. So, as a pediatrician, I have to continually talk to parents about using screen, not just for porn. Let me tell you, nowadays there is a problem called virtual autism. Both parents are working, especially in places like Bangalore where I live. So father and mother are working, the child is being taken care of by grandparents or by nanny, and what they do is, okay, take this device or look at this, and even their speech is impaired, I mean delayed, you see. Now, so from a very young age, children have should not be given these devices to handle by themselves, you see. There has to be a specific way they have to be parenting. And by the way, we have done on parenting, there are videos on parenting in JJSS YouTube channel. You can please watch it. So how can we educate small children to stop watching even for curiosity? Now, come on, children are curious by nature. We cannot stop their curiosity, and stopping their curiosity is not a good thing. But that brings to another big area of sexual education in children. Children need to be given appropriate sex education. When I say appropriate, means according to their age. So a 5-year-old child sex education is different from a 10-year-old, and 10-year-old is different from a 13-year-old. So parents need to have that kind of a communication. You cannot suddenly give sex education to a child with whom you are not close, you see. So the overall parent should be close to a child, they should do a good parenting, and in that process they should incorporate sex education also, and use of devices, and then we give them some warnings, some boundaries, also say there are bad images and things like that. And also we must be wise, we must not say too much also, otherwise that will cause them to be more curious and then find out also. So we cannot escape it, we have to deal with it. There is no quick fix. How can we educate small children? What are some tips? I would say there are no tips as such. Maybe you said you speak something about it. Yes, I have spoken. But you would say, but tell me one or two quick fix. No, there's no quick fix. It is I would say, a process of being with the children, loving them, and making them to grow up. Yeah. Okay, quite a few other questions. So let me go on to the next question. In a digital age where pornography is widely available and accessible, how realistic is it to combat pornography addiction? Well, the question is not how realistic. Question is, we have to. Now, for example, if let me tell you, in 2022, we went to California. I mean, we went to US to visit our relatives. In California, I saw a big sign: marijuana delivered at your doorstep. So now, if I am living in California, me and my children can get marijuana at our doorstep, just like Blinkit or Swiggy Instamart brings to my home. Other things. So, shouldn't I therefore make an effort to fight against this marijuana? Shouldn't I educate my children? So, I would say, maybe you are saying that it is very difficult. I agree. It is very difficult because pornography is widely available and accessible. But should we combat pornography addiction? Yes, 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 yes. Is it easy? No. But should we try to combat it? Yes, because of the so many harmful effects pornography has. Yeah. How do I remove recurring thoughts and sexual dreams after quitting pornography and premarital sexual activity? Yes. Well, that is why now the answer, see, I am not only answering this particular person, I'm giving this to all of you. So when I say all of you, prevention is better than cure. That is why we say prevention is better than cure, because once we get into it, this kind of problem happens. And I am not being harsh with the person who asked this question, not at all. I'm not trying to put more guilt into that person. It already appears to me that this person is having some kind of a thing, oh, I did something, so I want to get out of these recurring thoughts and sexual dreams. And that is where I would say such a person needs help. You need to get in touch with some mature people maybe a counselor, you know, and share these things, and you need someone to stand with you, okay? And as I told you, that number 7, you need help of God. You need forgiveness and you need healing. You see, today I was hearing a video actually, and that person told me something very wonderful. That person was telling, when we do something wrong, we need forgiveness. But we not only need forgiveness, we need healing. And what I understand from this question is that you are asking for healing in your mind, in your heart. And I would say healing is there, and I would want to give you hope that there is healing, and there is going to be, but that's going to be through some process. And uh, also, the recurring thoughts and dreams can go off when that is replaced with certain other healthy habits. Yeah. Sir, how to stop porn sites in India? Any suggestions to do it? Well, only the government can do it. Yeah. Only the government can do it. And of course, people, common people like you and me, can put pressure on the government. We can appeal, we can do signature campaign and so many things. But uh, you can say that in this aspect, I am a little pessimistic about what can happen in India. There are certain countries like China or some Islamic countries who have banned porn. In India, it is not yet, and only public pressure can do something, I feel. Well, I had anticipated this question. If self pleasure sin, if it is, how to overcome it? Well, the answer to this has to be nuanced. You see, everything can be taken to an extreme. You see, we have to think, why is it that these pleasurable sensations were originally given? And I believe, see, I am coming from a theistic worldview. That is, I believe that God is there. Now, why would God gives pleasurable sensations? Was it so that person can self-pleasure? Was that the original intention? I do not think that that was the original intention. And I think the original intention of sexuality was that a man and woman should come together in a lifelong relationship, and there should be a pleasure in that relationship, sexual relationship. So, but is self pleasure sin? I would say it becomes sin when it is done by watching many videos, you see, and sometimes it becomes too much. A person gets obsessed with it, and therefore that affects that person's even physical health and even that overall strength to go about life. It becomes addictive. So when it has all of these connotations, I feel self pleasure becomes a sin. But otherwise, I would not like to pass a general comment that every time self pleasure is sin. Yeah, I would stop short of that. Why do I why do I don't feel porn lust is as sinful for me as anger or ego or jealousy? Even after I know God said not to see women with lust and also don't be angry, why lust seems very big sin for me? Well, let me try to understand the question. Why do I don't feel porn lust is as sinful for me? Well, I would say when we live our own, the way we grew up, you see, it affects the way we look at life and we look at various issues. So, our own religious background, that will affect. Now, our own friendship circles, our own worldview, many of these effects. So, I would say that it is not that we have to compare sins in the sense. You see, which is bad, stealing or lying? I would say in some cases that it's not that there's an answer. We should try to answer this question, which is bad. Both are bad. Is anger bad? Anger means especially when it gets out of control, uh, and jealousy, that is bad. Lust is bad, porn is bad, all of this is bad, you see. And so I would say that when we try to look at issues, how God looks at that issue, then we get the right perspective of it. Our minds are really bombarded with so many things, saying that, that is okay. Just as I said, even my own mind, over a period of time, I saw that had changed. When I was very young, I thought that even lip to lip kiss seeing on a screen is bad. But over a period of time, my own threshold came down and down, you see. And I was, for me, many other things was also becoming all right. That's because I was getting exposed generally to many things, you see. So I think our exposure and the way we are breathing in things, that matters how we look at things. Let me go to the next question. There are many dramas that come under the genre of romance and they show might explicit intimate scenes, but still intimate scenes are shown. Should we consider romance genre also as a problem? Well, I am not here to, in the Bible there is a group of people called Pharisees who make laws. Thou shalt, God has made something and then on top of that they want to make. So I am not here to say what channel you must see, what genre you must see. The question you must ask is, are these helpful? Why are you watching it? You see? Why are you watching it? Is it going to help you? And is it going to even harm you? And especially for people who are drawn towards porn and other things, these are the early things. Just like I told you, drink beer and then you graduate into certain other things, you see. So that is all I can say. And I would not say, so tomorrow if I watch somebody seeing a romance genre, and I would not try to judge him or her too much. That person has to be wise. Is it good? Now, I know quite a few of my listeners are from Christian background. To them, I can tell one more thing. You are watching that romance genre. Would you be happy with your Lord Jesus also to watch that? If so, please watch it. Otherwise, don't watch it. Yeah. Well, this question, sir, can we watch porn or not? Yeah, I've spoken for a long time, and that's what I'm saying. Watching porn is not good. It has so many harmful effects. According to Bible, seeing porn or anything is bad, is sin. Yes, it is sin. The standard in the Bible is if you look at a woman with lust and want to lust in your heart. And there I want to help people by telling something. I have been helped by this one understanding. You cannot stop a bird from flying over your head, isn't it? You are walking in the outside, some bird flies over your head. But you can stop a bird from coming to your head and making a nest, isn't it? Similarly, I would say that accidentally we may watch something or see something, that is a different thing. But seeing deliberately and then thinking about it and then going, that would be definitely not good and pleasing in the sight of God, I feel. Will phone addiction also bring the same bad consequences as pornography? Of course, phone addiction both are addiction. So in that sense, both are same. But phone addiction would be more of a waste in time and various other things. But porn is not just waste in time; it has many other consequences also. Thank you for the session. Is it true that men have to ejaculate once in a month to prevent prostate cancer, or a propaganda? Well, I would say there are some studies which say like that. And by the way, let me tell you, there are something called, the guys have something called wet dreams, and that is the mechanism which God Himself has given, that there will be some kind of an ejaculation, isn't it? So, but there are some studies which show. But then, mind you, when men and women are married, you see, they can have relationships, and not just once in a month, they can more frequently. In a world filled with sexually suggestive content through ads, media, and everyday online spaces, how can a person protect themselves from being constantly enticed by it? Well, it is a challenging thing. It is a challenging thing to navigate life. To be very frank, I have a lot of sympathy for this present generation because, as I told you, I am in my mid 50s. In my time, also, a lot of bad things were happening. I'm not saying that my generation was very nice, but I have a lot of sympathy for this present generation, especially youngsters. Can you imagine, I am walking through a corridor and there are rooms on both sides, and all rooms, if I want, I can push it open, and inside that room there is sexual activity happening. How do I walk through the corridor with a degree of self control not to look into the open rooms? You see, that's the situation now. And that makes it so much challenging, and how much we need, I would say, we need self control. But where do I get self control from? Where can I buy 5 kg of self control? You see? And that's where again I am help from the Bible says the fruit of the Spirit is self control. We need help of God. We need help of God, I would say. Otherwise, it's not easy. And then we need help from one another and encouragement from one another. And I would say sessions like this are also an attempt to help the people in the society. Sir, can we watch porn or anything bad in according to Bible? That's okay. Has been done. Is oral sex wrong? Well, I would say, now how do you say something is right or wrong? You see, you need some standards. You see, so either if you are a spiritual person, you are going by some religious standard. Now, if I go by mere scientific thing, scientifically, well, it has been found that oral sex has higher prevalence of certain problems, you see, especially if there are sexually transmitted diseases and others, is more likely to spread. But generally speaking, scientifically, there's nothing to suggest that don't have oral sex, it is wrong. Yeah. But there can be more prevalence of certain transmission of sexually transmitted diseases. So that depends on you, how you view it, how you and your partner in your married relationship think about it. As a common guy and a tech guy, we can't stop porn sites. We can't stop porn site. We can stop going to porn site. Okay. We can't stop them. Okay. We can't stop them. The government is the only one who can ban a certain site. All we can do is not to visit. Sir, I came out of sin of sexual things but unable to get out of that guilt. Yes, that is the big thing. You see, guilt suggests, and maybe just the next question also I'll answer and we will stop. You see, guilt suggests that, oh, I have done something wrong. Our conscience, you see, inside us You see, there is a conscience given to everybody in this world. Okay, irrespective of their religion, they may be atheist or whoever. Everybody has a conscience, and conscience is like a referee. You see, referee. So, those of you who know football, so there is this, the two teams are playing. So suddenly there is somebody commits a foul, and the referee says, now, most of the times you would see that person say, "Oh, no, no, I didn't do it. I didn't push. I didn't." But referee will say, "No, put it there." I mean, they wouldn't even speak. They would just point out like that. Okay. So I would say conscience is like a referee. So in this case, you are saying, "Sir, I have that guilt." The guilt can only be removed by the judge. You see, conscience is just telling you like a referee, but finally the guilt will go when the judge of this whole world says, "Don't worry, I have forgiven you." So you need forgiveness from God. Yeah. Sir, for sexual knowledge, can we watch porn? Yeah, it's a good question, I would say, because I did not talk about it. Quite a few people go to porn to have sexual knowledge. Let me assure you, if at all you are going to get some knowledge that will be not useful for you. The reason is, first of all, sex is not something where which we have to study or get trained for many years. Not at all. God, in His greatness, in His, I would say, wisdom, has made sexual activity so simple that even illiterate people, you know, for they can also know how to have intimate physical relationship. You see, somehow, especially amongst youngsters, some kind of a thought comes, "Oh my God, I have to know, otherwise how will I sexual performance and all kinds of things." Not at all. I would say the main thing which a man and a woman they should have is love for one another, and it's in the context of their love that they explore each other's body under a covenant. They know each other. In fact, having intimate physical relationship is also called knowing. You see, so it is not some kind of a mystery or some kind of some great technical knowledge, nothing like that. Okay, there is no need for any great sexual knowledge, but some basic things need to be known, and for that there are very good, other ways. You also have to think, how is it that before the age of internet and much before, maybe 100 years back, 150 years back, how did people know? There is nothing much to know. You see, there is after a particular age, people will come together and they will, So watching porn for sexual knowledge is a trap, I would say. Okay. Does pornography has effects like premature ejaculation? Yes, definitely. It can cause problems because there's so much, hyper stimulation which has happened in their minds that all these things happen. But we don't know basic knowledge about sex, then seeing porn is wrong. Well, you have to decide how much knowledge you want. You The person who asked this question, I want to say, so how much knowledge you want, how many videos you would like to see before you think that your basic knowledge is completed, and why do you want basic knowledge? I don't know the age of this person who is asking this question. Are you going to get married tomorrow? Not tomorrow, I mean, sorry, shortly. You see, why you want to have that basic knowledge? Because in my understanding, people might differ with me. In my understanding, I think sex is reserved for between a husband and wife inside the, boundary of marriage. So if this person who asked this question is going to shortly get married, you can buy a standard, some book from somewhere, which is not a porn book, you see, and that's it. Well, so many questions. You have asked questions, I have answered, but you didn't have a chance to again ask the question. So I don't know how satisfactory was my answers, but I hope you are kind of reasonably happy and helped through these answers. Shanti?
Thank you so much for all your questions. And I'm sure others too would have been helped through the answers to your questions. And Dr. Sunil, thank you for taking time and effort for this session and also for your labor to answer all those questions. I believe that you were helped through these Q&A session. So thank you very much for joining today's sessions. We hope you were benefited in some way. For further help, you can continue to be in touch through our helpline number, which again, I would like to stress, it is 7411208707. Or you can get in touch through our email, which is jivanjalasevasamiti@gmail.com. Check out our social media accounts for our previous sessions. Our sessions are usually held once a month. Stay tuned also to our WhatsApp channel for information regarding our next session. Stay connected on our YouTube channel or our Instagram account or our WhatsApp channel. The links are given in the chat box below. We'll be back.